Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Loreweek. I am, as ever and as always, your host, the Lore Runner, who forgot to put his mic back up on its stand, but that's okay. I was supposed to do that earlier, but I've been busy. I've been so busy, in fact, that I haven't even fully prepared Loreweek for you. I'm just gonna go and be honest about that, because I've been working. Don't worry, the work shall soon end, and then I will never work again. Okay, that's a damn lie. I shouldn't actually joke about that. You ever see Lion King? You know, never go hungry again. It's the same kind of idea, except I totally will. You'll never go hungry again. Maybe. I shouldn't say that so definitively because I'm still not sure. Because, well, we'll see. It's one of those interesting situations. Is it worth it? Should I pause in November to record ruminations? I mean, I don't know. We'll decide that later. We're trying something different with the music. I don't know if anybody even notices. We'll see what happens. We'll see what people think of it. So we're just going to leave that going. As usual, I do want to start with show news before people start bombarding me. First and foremost, for those of you who haven't noticed, the Chapter 1 theater premiere is already live. So let me explain that for those of you who don't know what that means. It means that the video page for where Chapter 1 of the Lorewalker Theater is going to go live is there. The actual theater itself isn't live. That'll be going live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time a week from yesterday. Now, so that obviously that does mean Chapter 1 is done. I have to upload a finished and finalized video to even set such a premiere. And I wanted to wait about a week before I did that. The theater isn't actually done yet, if I'm being completely honest, but it's so close to being done that I'm comfortable effectively saying it's done at this point. So all I have to do is two last things, which is to clean up my Patreon, because I haven't done that in a bit. It's just, regular maintenance right there. And the other thing I need to do is I need to finish the Extant video. Now, for those of you who know what that means, you're awesome and you're amazing. For those of you who don't know what that means, you're still awesome, but, that does hurt. Just a little bit. It's okay, I understand. Okay, that confused the heck out of me, because Jesse Ward and Jesse's Mask both subbed within minutes of each other, within a minute of each other. I'm like, wait a minute. Very confusing. Thank you, Jesse's Mask. And thank you, Jesse Ward, very much. Jesse Ward, I'll put yours towards Suikoden 1, and Jesse's Masks will go towards The Last Guardian. So, for those of you who don't know what the Extant video is, I put together an Extant animation video. You can look it up. Just look up Extant Parish, that's P-A-R-I-S-H, and that's all you need to look up, and you'll find the initial video. That was an experiment trying to make an animated way to explain and expound upon the history and the existence of the Extant, something that's been bouncing around my mind for a while now. If anybody's ever seen Extra History or Oversimplified or anything like that, it's something of that general style of partially comedic but mostly serious retelling of history is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. The difference is I didn't want to tell it for real-life history. I wanted to tell the Extant's history. That's realistically the best method I have to expound upon the Extant with regards to you all, and therefore that's something that's been bouncing around my head for years now. So the first video is already live. It's been live for a while. Again, that was a kind of a test case thing. And I was like, well, that took some time, but people said, can we fund future videos? Like you do runs. And I said, well, yeah, I don't see why you can't. And so people started funding the second video. That's the one I'm working on. That video has been funded, and therefore I literally owe it to you. I have to provide the product that has been paid for. So that's the video I'm working on right now. That's what I spent this morning and yesterday and Friday working on. Animation videos take a little bit, especially since I keep running into situations where I'm like, how many of you ever run into this situation creatively? Doesn't matter what with, where you're like, okay, I could do this. Then you sit there and stare at it for a moment. You're like, I could do this other thing instead. It'll take more time, and it'll take more effort, and I'll have to do this whole thing for like 3 seconds of animation, but I could do this other thing. And then you wrestle with yourself for a minute, okay, fine. And then you go ahead and throw in the effort for 3 seconds of footage. Just, I think it was Friday, I was trying to find footage, for lack of a better way to put it, a shot, for an area of devastation. I needed something that looked horrific. Like, just... And I just couldn't find anything. And I'm like, surely there's got to be some kind of ruins or some kind of meteor hit or some kind of something somewhere that I can use. And I just couldn't find something. I'm not going to tell you what I actually chose, so that you'll be surprised when the video goes live, for the 3 of you who are actually going to watch it. God, I spent like an hour and a half on that one thing for like 5 seconds of shot. There's got to be something I can get for that. Anyways, that's where we're at right now. But there is another piece of news, which I'm going to save until I finish saying thank you. I haven't been ignoring you all. It's just, you know, I wanted to get out that without interrupting myself. So we got a bunch of donations from Jesse's Mask, which we'll look at in a second. Oh my gosh. War 2. I'm going to say these out loud and then say thank you separately. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Dealer's Choice, which we're actually kind of doing some other things with that. And then we've got Hero Way Noise for Arx Fatalis. I don't even remember what that is. I'm pretty sure it's on the list, but I don't even remember what game that is. Blade 7, which is putting, what is that, 2? Yep. Towards Trails in the Sky 2. Then we have Michaelvania. It's putting it towards Legend of Gaia, which I think is getting very close to being funded. Is that everything? That's everything. Okay, so thank you, Lola Blas. Towards Dawn of War 2. Thank you, Mega DA. I never know how to actually say that. I always want to say Mega Great or Mega Dragon Great or Mega Dragon Age Great. But either way, thank you, as always. And thank you very much, Kira White Noise. And thank you very much, Melkor Blade, for those gift subs. And thank you, Michael Vania. And hang on, there's actually one I missed in that. And oh my... I need a drink. I mean, it's water. But I still need a drink. I'm going to get back to that in a second. We'll loop back to that. Right now, what I want to talk about is streaming and videos. So I'll talk about videos first because it's the thing people are least interested in. Got it. I'm just going to... I'll try to mentally adjust that to mega so I don't screw it up every single time I say it. So let's see. So we had that video went live. Oh my god. So last August 15th to September 9th. That's 1, 2, 3. It's just under 4 weeks. Because of how I've lined things up, every single day during that period of time, at least one video has gone live on YouTube. With not missing a single day. Now, there's some gaps there because if we go back a little bit further to the 13th, you know, there's no Friday video. And if we go forward to the 10th, there's no Friday video. But because of how we've lined this all up, because we've got the theater, which is going to start taking the Saturday slots, we've got Lorecraft, which takes the Sunday slots, the Extant video is going to fill the gap this Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are already getting slots every week. So that means that's almost 4 months of solid videos. Or 4 months. Wow, 4 weeks. Sorry. 4 months would be awesome. And I just wanted to be pleased with that for just a second. But no, the thing people really care about is, of course, streaming. For those of you not aware, a week from yesterday, at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have a stream. It will not be the official return to streaming. That's going to be just a little bit after that. But that will be the behind-the-scenes Lore Walker Theater stream. Just kind of talking about the whole process and sharing some anecdotes and some factoids and just discussing it with people. I've invited a few actors and actresses to be present in chat to talk about it. And for those of you not aware, and I already said this, but to reiterate this, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 2 hours later, the actual theater will go live. I will go ahead and shut down the stream when that happens. But I will then be on the premiere. And for those of you who've never been part of a YouTube premiere, there's actually a live chat while the premiere is going live. And so I will be present in that, talking and sharing with people and banning the crap out of it. I mean, enthusing and gushing about how awesome it is. So that's the plan for next Saturday. The actual streams, which this has been announced a couple of places, the actual stream return. Oh my God. I'm never returning to streaming. I've given up. I'm done. We're done here. It's over. The actual return to streaming will be August 31st at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time as usual. That is a week from this Tuesday, so 2 Tuesdays from now. That'll be Banjo-Tooie. We'll be getting right back into it. I still have the game right here. And we'll finally be getting back to this terrible... I mean, wonderful, wonderful game. Please don't kill me. Maybe you should kill me. I don't know. It's been a minute. I will say this. While it has been an interesting and extremely productive 4 months, I have produced literally over a year's worth of content in various ways over the last 4 months. It will be nice to get back to streaming. And good Lord, I don't want to look at another Adobe Premiere timeline for the rest of my life. I will have to at some point, of course, but I'm a little sick of it. You know, you work on one thing over and over and over and over and over and over. I actually streamed that game, Trihexia. It sucked. That's the summary. It'll be fine, Hazardous. I already got plenty of people who ragged on me for my opinion on Banjo-Kazooie. And, I mean, those people can go to hell, so whatever. Now I gotta pause again to go look at donations. So I've got several. But the queue hasn't really changed. So for those of you not aware, you can go to the website, go to loreweek.com and see the queue. And hey, look, it's a return to streaming. And this is the games we're streaming, and we're going to be going right back into the jank block. We've got, I know we've got Quest 64. I don't remember what else. Oh yeah, Diddy Kong Racing, I think, is in the jank block. I don't remember what else is in the jank block. But it's crap. And that's why it's called the jank block. I've never... What? Valerian? Anyways, before we continue forward, thank you. Let's see. I guess we've got first Jesse's Mask. Thank you very, very much. Always appreciate. Thank you. And I'll put that towards Psychonauts. Give me a moment. I'm just going to do these sequentially so I don't screw this up. As I want to do. Oh, is it really? God, I didn't realize we were that close to the release. Then again, there's a bunch of things coming out or have already come out that I've kind of missed out on. Like, apparently... No, I'm not kidding, Village Idiot. You could check the website to see the upcoming list. Free Guy is already out. And I guess What If has already started going live? Is that correct? I know Loki's done. I know that's finished, because I hated it, but... No, I'm not going to qualify that. Thank you, Hazardous Material. You didn't say not to bow. You know what, this background music, what I should probably be doing. There we go. There we go. See, the camera's kind of tilted, so I gotta actually not be static to look like I'm, or to look like I'm balanced here. I don't know how to fix the tilt, because the camera's actually on a stand attached to something way back there. Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Red, very, very much. And I'll put that towards whatever. How would I do a multiverse story? Well, the first thing I would do is I wouldn't. And that's just the truth of that. I mean, I don't know what else to put to there. Okay, so... Okay, hang on. Thank you, S.A. Ross. Thank you. You didn't say what to put it towards, though. Appreciate it. Oh, hang on. That was a tier 2 one. Double bow. Yeah, what do you think of the music? Trying something out here. Okay, so hang on. So that's 5 to Mega Man Legends 1, and then 5 to Mega Man Legends 2, and then 20 to Diablo 1, and then 20 to Thief 2. That's 50. Wait. Yeah, no, that's 50. Oh, you donated 60. God, I'm a moron. I swear I've been getting sleep. Last night, no joke, I already said this in Discord. Last night, I actually dreamt that I was working on editing a Final Fantasy XIV theater. And you're probably thinking, oh, that's cool. No. No, that was actually... This is going to sound like a joke. That was actually a nightmare. I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, the dream was a nightmare. I would qualify that as a nightmare dream. That was horrific. Good lord. And it's never happening. Don't even ask. Thank you, Fife, very much. I will put that towards New Vegas. And Ross is putting it towards Ruby. I swear I could talk here. Okay, so I got Thief 2. If you don't understand what the significance of that, by the way, Final Fantasy XIV is a great game, but it has some problems. And one of those problems is they talk, and they talk, and they talk. And there is so much dialogue in that game. And percentage-wise, the ridiculous majority of it is not voiced. Yes, there is voice acting, but only the main story quest, and actually only parts of the main story quest, are voice acted. So there is just a stupid amount of dialogue there. It's not like, it's not like Guild Wars 2, and it's not like Tor, which are the ones that are fully voice acted. Yeah. Anyways, that would be a nightmare. Okay, so Parish 3, so that doesn't exist. There's no third Parish video, Mr. Red. I am working on the second Parish video literally this morning, but if you want to put that towards something else, please let me know. Oh, I know, right? Melkor Blade. That's also a thing that would never happen. Can you treat FF14 as a book? Yeah. Oh, no, empty text happens regardless of where it's from. Like, there's empty text all over the place. It's not a Japanese thing. Let's see here. So, no, Zira! Actually, someone suggested a WoW theater. And the problem with that is it's basically the exact same problem, but it's worse because WoW has a thing where the further into WoW you are, the more voice acting there is. Not just for main characters, but for secondary characters as well. So when you get through, when you move through WoW, it would be like, voice acting vanilla, sure. There's tons of dialogue that's not voiced there. BC, it's okay. Wrath, Kata, By the time you hit about Legion, which is when random enemies start having voice acting, that's officially pretty much the line. Anyways, I'm still trying to understand your comment. This is really badly formatted on my screen, Mr. Red. I'm sorry. So you want 3 to the Sorai. Okay. Can understand that. And then 2 for the Trenth video. And then what do you want to put the other 5 towards? Mr. Red is what this boils down to. Oh yeah, we'll do a Pokemon theater. That sounds fun. I can't do it. Bulbasaur. I just really get it down there. Thank you, Doom Rider, very much for the sub. As always. I suppose you also want that to go towards Dealer's Choice, which is acceptable. Mega Man 6. Mega Man. You got it. Yes, I am, Zacta. Mr. Red, what do you want the other 5 to go towards? Now, I need to figure out what would be the worst theater to do. The worst game to do a theater for? Xenogears. That's not a dig at Xenogears. But think about it. Just really think about it. Oh my god. Misadventures of Frostbone. You got it. I mean, Earthbound wouldn't be terrible. You just need to figure out how you're doing, that's true, Blue Wolf Alex. The catch, Blue Wolf Alex brings up something that I've thought of a lot. Unfortunately, most games don't have this. A game where you can disable different audio sliders would be ideal for theater. The problem is none of the ones we've ever done have that as an option. What I mean by that is, imagine Mega Man 8, for example, right? Now, Mega Man 8 does have dialogue in it, but what you could do is, if this option existed, which it doesn't, is disable just the voice acting. So leave the sound effects in, leave the music in, record the footage, sans music, or sans voice acting, and then just staple the voice acting on top of that. Unfortunately, that isn't an option. So any game like that that has existing voice acting would be kind of a... Because replacing the music is easy, replacing the sound effects not so much. Anyways, I think that's everything except Valerian. So I don't know what that means. I give up. I don't know what your donation is towards. That's so the only problem with that, Plutonia, and of course you're right, but the possibility exists because some games do I forget what it's called, checks to see if the audio files are there. And if they're not there, or if they're the wrong size, or if they're, wrong in any particular way, the game just straight up crashes. I've actually encountered this before several times. So it's possible that I could pull up the Steam version of Mega Man 8 and then try to remove the audio files, and then hope it doesn't crash every time an audio file plays. I would also have to specifically find the exact voice line audio files amongst the other audio files, but that is a possibility. It's just little bit more work than previously indicated. Matching lip syncing is not something I would be worried about because their lip syncing is Japanese. So, no. Alright, thank you very, very much, Emperor Valerian. Always and ever. Thank you so much. It's interestingly timed as well, especially since, I recently lost, my monthly income has gone down. Let's phrase it that way. That's the simplest and easiest way to put that. Understandable. I haven't been streaming for 4 months. But it I don't know. It's probably shouldn't be freaking me out, but it totally is. So thank you very, very much. I think that's all of that. So I talked about... Yeah, let's not even talk about Twitch. I don't even want to get into that. So I talked about coming back to streaming. I talked about theater. I think that's it for show news. Double checking my notes. Oh yeah, one other thing. Do I have a favorite game? Final Fantasy VI. Do I have a favorite movie? Probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Or Wrath of Khan, specifically. Or Empire Strikes Back, specifically. Do I have a favorite... What is the name of this music? I gotta look that up. You're gonna have to give me a minute. Surely Where the heck is it? There it is. The name of this song is Flying by Peter with a D, B. Helland. Right. So let's switch over to random news. Although before I do, really quick. Sorry, one moment. There was one other thing I want to talk about, and that's Gamescom. For those of you not aware, Gamescom is happening this coming Wednesday. I don't know what that means, Hazardous. Favorite Star Trek series is TNG and DS9. Before I streamed it, Trihexia. So whenever I did the lore run is after that is when they did it. Favorite movie, video game soundtrack. Well, my favorite video game soundtrack is Final Fantasy IV, followed immediately by Final Fantasy VI. This suddenly turned into a Q&A. Whoops. There we go. What's my favorite question? Oh, sorry. No, I have not had any time to do anything, Ivanux. In fact, I've had so little time to do anything that I don't even have the full news to share with you, so I apologize for that. Gamescom is this coming Wednesday, and there will probably be news there because it's Gamescom. The only thing that I know, sorry, let me clarify that. The only thing I know is going to be announced during Gamescom is there's a new Saints Row game. They keep emphasizing that it's not a remake and it's not a remaster, that it is a new Saints Row game, so we will see. But I imagine that we will have plenty of stuff at next Loreweek to discuss. For right now, I only have a couple of little tidbits. For example, right now there are senators within the United States Congress who are actively going and trying to push through anti-lootbox legislation again. I say again because this has actually tried to happen 3 times by my counting in the last year. We'll see if they actually get anywhere because they keep failing because politics. Oh, yeah, no, I did actually see that as it is. And immediately threw it out of my mind because there's nothing I can do about it. I do want to share the official video game ESA, which I forget what that stands for, response to this, if that's cool with everyone. And I quote, "This legislation is flawed and riddled..." I don't know what that accent's from. "Flawed and riddled with inaccuracies. It does not reflect how video games work, nor how industry strives to deliver innovative, compelling entertainment experiences to our audiences. The impact of this bill would be far-reaching and ultimately prove harmful to the player experience, not to mention the more than 220,000 Americans employed by the video game industry." I'm sorry. I told myself I'd try not to laugh during this, but this is ridiculous. "We encourage the bill's co-sponsors to work with us to raise awareness about the tools and information in place that keep the control of video game play and in-game spending in parents' hands rather than the government's." I don't even know what to say about that. Whatever. Moving on. That's a thing. Speaking of loot boxes, brilliant segue. World of Warships is getting worse. And I'd say this, so let me explain a little bit. I actually did a little research on this one while I was dealing with some real-life stuff I'm not going to go into right now. So this is the only news item I've actually researched this week. World of Warships. Oh my god. Wargaming. So Wargaming has been slowly getting worse and worse and worse over the course of several years at this point. By all accounts and by all measures, and by my own estimation, based on what they've been doing and how they've been doing it. What happened most recently was effectively just the final straw. It was just the latest thing. I don't know or care, Trihexia. So the latest, it's just the latest. And several people have finally decided to bail, including several of the content creators who exist within a specific community that exists to plug and promote wargaming. To explain what I mean by that, wargaming actually has supported content creators and given them, extra stuff or avenues or information or in-game assets or whatever in order to try and keep that thing. Those people are gone. I shouldn't say those people to imply that all of them are gone, but last I checked, which was this morning, there's at least 22 of these people are out. Colin Peluso is out. Thank you very much, Colin Palooza. I'll put that towards Mother 3. Much appreciated. It's kind of silly and kind of ridiculous and hysterical, if I might be so bold, how much wargaming has been going completely overboard, in my opinion, of course, with regards to their monetization scheme. I'm not even going to detail the entire latest monetization scheme because it would take time and effort to do so, and that by itself should explain how stupid it is. But what it boils down to is deliberately trying to obfuscate the cost of the gambling involved in order to try and encourage people, let me say that, in order to try and deceive people into spending more than they did, in order to try and deliberately pull into the sunk cost fallacy. Now, I want to talk about that very, very, very briefly. Yes, there was one long. The sunk cost fallacy, a lot of people misuse that phrase. The sunk cost fallacy specifically refers to, well, I've already spent $18 on this, so it must be useful, right? Like, it must be worthwhile. And therefore, a person is psychologically encouraged to attach a value to a thing or a concept or whatever, which isn't actually there, purely because they've already spent money on it. In this case, so gambling in general, casinos, of course, but also this kind of predatory practice, deliberately tries to obfuscate things in order to make it so that you think, well, I've already spent $20 on this, so I might as well spend 25 because I haven't gotten what I want yet. In other words, it's pretty much the exact opposite of knowing when to cut your losses, okay? So they have this whole scheme involved, which is ridiculous. And again, I did actually research this, and it is silly how many steps you have to cycle through this. And it is very clearly psychologically inclined to get people to dump money on it in basically every way. Not just the obfuscation thing, not just the sunk cost fallacy, and not just the general, nickel and diming thing, but also towards, yes, I've actually already answered that question, Eleazar. I did a whole Loreweek on it. The short answer is we're still covering Blizzard games, moving on. That's the short answer. If you want the full answer, you're going to have to watch that Loreweek. I'm not summarizing an hour and a half of discussion. Sorry. The other thing, though, is one of the ships, and this is pretty much the final straw, is the Missouri. Or the Missouri is actually what it should be pronounced as. At least that's what people from Missouri tell me. For those of you who don't know what that means, the Missouri is a pretty historically significant ship. It was a ship during World War II. It was the ship that they signed the armistice, I think it was the armistice, between Japan and the United States. And it's a ship that has some value attached to it because it's the Missouri, right? It's like the Yamato or the Bismarck. People who are into ships are going to be into the Missouri. You with me? Now, I bring this up because that is the specific ship that they've brought back in this manner and absolutely buried under this whole nonsense. So that is another layer of, hey, look, you can have this wonder. I mean, this is not hard to understand. How many of you like Star Trek? Real quick, thank you. Oh God, I'm stumbling because I wanted to say Scotch gamer, but you're not that anymore. So Unicorn Scotch, thank you very, very much. As always, I'll put that towards Bioshock too. God, I'm just stumbling all over the place this morning. Oh, I know, Trek sucks. How many of you, if you could have a model or like a figurine or like just something of a specific ship from Star Trek, that you would want that because it's that ship, then you understand the mentality. I'm just saying that to explain it for anybody who doesn't get the historical geekdom going on here. It's not that hard to think, oh man, I could have the Millennium Falcon, right? Yes, I know that that's not from Star Trek, but you get my point. I know a lot of people who would really love to have a model of the Normandy, for example, which to my knowledge doesn't exist, but I could be wrong about that. So, thank you, Jesse's Mask, for the link. Sorry, they're labeled, I swear. At least I think they're labeled. All of this just... Yeah, sorry, actually, to continue to what Trathan just said, there's a reason I prefer the SR2. But there's a reason I have... One of my favorite ships in STO is a Galor. a Cardassian Galor cruiser, just because I love that ship, right? And also because it was super expensive and it was a gift from a viewer, and it's awesome. But point being, I wanted that ship because it's an awesome ship, not because it has great stats. That's the significance of this, by the way. That's another reason why this is more of a psychological thing. It's not like the Missouri is a great ship in gameplay. It's not. It actually kind of sucks, relatively speaking. But it's the Missouri. You know? You get my point. So this is all nonsense. And I actually do have a topic here, believe it or not. We don't know how significant this event is, this particular dam bursting, and we won't know for a few months, probably about another quarter, I'd say, possibly 2. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, something I've talked about several times is how several companies, gaming companies, have a demonstrable history of not caring about their audience or their viewers or their players because they don't need to. Because the people who dump money into them are not the people who give a damn about the game. I know that sounds strange and derogatory, but it's true, so I don't have a better way to put that. I don't have any way to sugarcoat this. A lot of these companies deliberately rip money out of people who are not actually the players, for lack of a better way to put that. Who are not people who are, people who give a damn about a quality product. And again, that sounds derogatory, and I have no way to make it not derogatory, because it is an insult, and I mean it as one. So I'm not going to lie about that. So a huge number of gaming companies, and because, let me rewind a second. The reason this has come up recently, okay, this has come up a lot recently, but the specific reason is I had a viewer ask me, how can a company do something so obviously, so blatantly anti-consumer, anti-customer, anti-player, and get away with it? This is why. Because their target isn't the player. Their target is the people who are spending money. And unfortunately, we are at a point where that is a distinction, where there is a divide between the people who will be upset about what Blizzard's been doing, who are bothered by what Ubisoft's doing, or who actually give enough of a damn about, World of Warships and think that these kind of practices are unacceptable. And then there's the people who spend money on them because they either have it to burn, or because it's the only thing they've got, or because it's their disposable income, or because they don't have self-control, or because they're caught in a psychological loop, or because they're effectively stealing money from someone else, their friends or family or loved ones, in order to pay for it, and all the kinds of stories that have already proven to be existing. All of these things are not hypotheticals. These are things that have already past tense been happening. And that is why this whole thing sucks, but we don't know if it matters yet. We won't know for about another quarter or 2. Now I gotta see what the heck Loner's linking to here. Notify me when available, Loner, is all I gotta say to that. What is that? Yep, that's what I thought. I was gonna say, that looks like a Dark Horse model, and it is. There's a Garrus body pillow. I saw that, Hazardous. Sorry. Moving on. So we'll see. That's really what that boils down to. We'll see. I feel like a lot of my news tidbits are we'll see. Let's switch to something at least more amusing. Skyrim's coming out again. At which point do we just acknowledge that they're just straight up trolling us? Like, they know the meme exists. We know they've referenced the meme. They've talked about the meme. We know there's a meme. They know there's a meme. How are they continuing to get away with this? What's on what platform? Everything, I think? I'm not even sure. Financially? Oh, I have no idea, Trehexia. No, Valerian, absolutely not. I would rather gouge my eyes out. That's not true. That's an exaggeration. I shouldn't exaggerate. So yeah, Skyrim's coming out again. It's getting fishing and a few mods, and I think what amuses me the most about the fact that it's Skyrim specifically is of the 3 Elder Scrolls games that I care about, which is, you know, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, the one I care about the least is Skyrim. Now, obviously, that's just me. I don't want to cast, you know, negativity or shade or whatever upon anybody who likes Skyrim. That's on you. But for me personally, it always amuses me that Skyrim is the least interesting and least fun of the 3, and it's the one that has gotten the re-release upon re-release upon re-release upon re-release upon re-release, right? How many versions of Morrowind have we gotten? Oh, that's right, 1. How many versions of Oblivion we've gotten? Technically 2, because we have the Game of the Year version. It just amuses the heck out of me. No, eclectic, how could you? Yeah, no, we do have to count for the Game of the Year version of Oblivion. That had the expansions of the DLCs baked in. That's even the version I streamed. Yeah, Sky Oblivion's still going. I talked about that last week, actually. I have no idea, Loner. Like, if you asked me why it is that Skyrim, of all games, is the one that keeps going, I don't know. I mean, you say it's the most normie relevant. It is probably the most... There's no probably, I don't know why I'm saying that. It is the most well-known, the most popular. If we're counting that, then the versions of Oblivion go up to like 5, and the versions of Skyrim go up to like 30. Blue of Alex. I wasn't counting different consoles. Skyrim is the most popular Elder Scrolls. The end. But that's not a debatable. More people know about Skyrim than they do any of the others. Probably all of the others combined. Now, hang on, I'm trying to catch up here. Real quick, thank you, Slim Jim Reborn. Much appreciated as always. I will put that towards dealer's choice. Still trying to untangle eclectic's thing here. It's very eclectic, this donation. Okay, so we've got Zelda Block, City Skylines. How many Star Wars movies are in Star Wars: The Complete Saga? Because I'm not actually sure, and I heard someone say something about that recently, that cast aspirations on which movies are in that. Either way, thank you very, very much, Eclectic, as always. Much appreciate. Thank you. Yeah, I see. I assumed it was all 9. But then I heard some people say it was just 6. And that's why I'm like, the intention was for it to be all 9. If it's not all 9, we need to switch to all 9, because that was what was originally suggested and donated for. So I do need to look this up. I just haven't, because I've been working on the Extant video. When is Skyrim 2 Yeah, no, exactly, Hazardous. My mother knows about Skyrim. You know, that's why Skyrim is the thing that gets all the attention, because it has all the attention. Seesaw. Or Snowball, if you prefer. Anyways, so we're getting a new Skyrim. I don't even know what to say about that. We are getting, let's see, Quake, Doom, hang on. So there's like Quake. We had QuakeCon last week, by the way. Quake is coming out. It's like a new version of Quake. I'm buying the crap out of it. I'm just going to be honest about that. I always loved Quake. It was my relaxation game for a long part of my life there, during the high school, college years. And it's touched up. They've got some slightly better things and some remastered things, or they're putting back. It's a remaster. It is a remaster. But Quake is coming out again. It's also coming out on the Switch. I believe they mentioned that the Nine Inch Nails music specifically is going to be in it. I don't know, because I don't care, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come in it. Also, there's a pack of Doom 1, Doom 2, Final Doom, and Doom 64, I think? I don't remember the full list, but there's a Doom pack, which is also coming out on the Switch, consequently, which is kind of cool, so awesome. And that was it, unfortunately, as far as QuakeCon news. That leaves us with two other interesting little tidbits before I get to Pokemon. So, first of all, how many of you have ever heard of Splitgate? I will go ahead and admit that I was familiar with it. I should raise my hand on that, but I was only tangentially aware of it because of the fact that it's a versus competitive game. I don't care. But Splitgate is the Portal first-person shooter game. First-person shooter versus game. So, cool. Now, cool. Its beta launch, excuse me, thank you for checking, Melkor, had problems. I'll have to double check that. So the Skywalker Saga isn't even out yet? I am going to have to look into this later. Yes, there is, Kay. I'm sorry, one second. With an esh. Oh, wow. Apparently they're talking about the Skywalker Saga this week. It's going to be mentioned at Gamescom. Huh. That's something to watch for next week. What the hell was I talking about? Splitgate. So Splitgate had such a problematic launch that they decided to go ahead and push back the launch date to whenever. They basically deleted the launch date, and it will come out when they're done polishing and fixing it, and they've pushed out a complete product. In totally unrelated news, Halo Infinite has decided to go ahead and release without co-op mode. Okay, real talk. There's actually a topic here. And that's why I'm bringing it up. So let me go ahead and get out the knee-jerk reaction. What the hell is wrong with you, Halo? Or whoever made that decision, whether it's Microsoft or 243 or whatever. Now, anybody who watched my Halo reviews knows that I gave 2 positives to every Halo game that had complete campaign co-op, because that's an awesome feature. I only really got to try it out in Halo 1 personally, but it was extremely fun. Right? Like, I cannot be the only one who has that kind of a perspective, that campaign co-op is legit. Now, them deciding to patch in the co-op mode later is not the worst thing that could happen. Them just ejecting the co-op would be the worst thing. But them patching in later, what that actually means is we want to hit a launch date for a product that is effectively not complete. That's what that means. Now, I don't mean to cast aspirations. I don't mean to cast shade at that, but that is fact. A Halo game which has campaign co-op as something that's built in as a feature, but that feature is going to be patched in later, that means they're going to launch it in an incomplete state. And the only reason games launch in incomplete states is because they're trying to hit a launch window. So... Now, you're probably thinking, well, hang on, Laura, you said this is a complex issue. Yeah, it is. Now, I'm not going to get into the economic side of things because that's a whole other thing, and the concept of the quarterly return can go to hell. But what I'm actually talking about is the nature of the difference between rushing a release and taking too long to release. Now, we have talked about this topic before. The ridiculous majority of video games we have covered on the course of this show have been released too early because of the fact that they're run by companies, and companies care about the quarterly return and yada, 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 again, trying to leave the economic stuff out of this. But the point is, the economic drive behind video game development, has pretty much entirely been focused on get it out, get it out, get it out. Yeah, Cyberpunk is another example. Dragon Age 2 is my personal favorite example of this, but there are many examples of this. But the thing is, the reason this is a complex topic is sometimes a product does need to get launched. Or just be axed entirely is the other thing. Sometimes a product has been in development for too long. Now, we don't have a lot of examples of that. Star Citizen, excuse me. But I want you to picture something. What's something creative that you like to do? You don't have to tell me what it is. but just get in your mind something creative that you actually enjoy doing. Now, think about you're making something for that, right? You're making whatever it is. It's a song, or it's a painting, or it's a custom map for head-on, or whatever, right? Designing a P&P system, or drawing, or whatever. There's all sorts of things, right? Cooking? Yeah, absolutely. Now, put yourself in the mindset. I don't know how many of you have this, but I know a lot of creative types do. Put yourself in the mindset of, okay, so you're working on the thing, but you notice a flaw. Okay, well, I got to go back and fix that. But then you notice another flaw. Well, okay, well, I got to go back and fix that. Since I fixed that, maybe I should redo this so it fits better. Because now it's like bad but good, and then goes back to bad. So now I got to bring the bad up to good. I got to repaint over this section. Oh, yep, I caused another flaw now. You probably already see where I'm going with this. Anybody who is truly creative, I say that like it's an elitist thing. Most people that I'm aware of are creative to some extent or another. It's just in a specific field. So most creative people that I have talked to have this problem. And that is, eventually something does need to come out. You do actually need to know when enough is enough and something needs to launch. Because otherwise you'll just sit there fiddling with it forever, effectively, like just. And knowing where that line is a challenge, and it is something that takes actual management skill and understanding of workflow and time management specifically. Yeah, exactly. You need to know when to stop. And yeah, it is a very common issue. And that's why I bring this up, because I can only speak from ignorance about Halo Infinite, because I don't know if this is, we need to hit a quarterly return, which is stupid, or if this is, we've been fiddling with this too long, we need to launch it. Because that does happen in video games just as much as everything else. Again, we don't really cover these all that often, just by circumstance, not on purpose. But there are plenty of games where eventually someone had to be like, we need to launch this. We're just sitting here spinning our gears on this. Someone, I think it was Weouds, mentioned earlier Duke Nukem Forever. Anybody familiar with the actual full behind-the-scenes information on Duke Nukem Forever knows that was pretty much exactly the problem they were running into. Oh, shoot. We need to go and redo this thing. And then we need to go redo with this thing. Oh gosh, we need to change engines. And now we need to go redo this thing. And then we need to change engines again. And they just kept spinning their wheels. And the problem is, even ignoring the financial problem of spinning your wheels, which is horrifically expensive, see my Star Wars Solo rumination for an in-depth discussion on how expensive it is to sit there and do nothing, there's also the very real psychological and mental cost of not accomplishing anything for a large amount of work done. Or, let me put this in extremely easy to understand terms. I want you to imagine you're digging a ditch. And how many of you have ever done, like, hard physical labor out in the heat before? I obviously have. I do it every week to help my sister with her yard, but, anybody familiar with that? So. Now imagine you've dug this ditch and you've spent hours, like 5 hours, and yeah, exactly, to quote. And now it's like, well, now you got to move the ditch. So you have accomplished nothing with all of that work and effort. How does that feel? Now, I actually agree with Blue Wolf Alex, and that is a good point to make. These are not mutually exclusive. The quarterly return and the we need to launch are not actually mutually exclusive concepts. They can coexist alongside each other. Are you still getting paid for the ditch? The final ditch, yeah. But you're not paid by the hour. You're paid for the product, sir. And you're not getting paid jack because you didn't make the ditch. You made this other ditch. You need to make the ditch over here. Oh, Jesus, there's a DLC, Eclectic? I don't know. I know nothing about that. That's my answer to that. I have no information with which to judge. I'll put that on the look it up thing. Hang on. Outer Wilds. Let's see here. Go. Apparently it's coming out in September. Wait, hang on. So the bottom line is, well, on the one side, I look at Halo Infinite and I'm like, oh, come on! On the other hand, I do want to be at least a little bit understanding and, like, maybe there's a reason for this. I could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, no, what will have to happen, so you're correct, Outer Wilds is not funded. So what usually happens, Eclectic, is we just bake that into the cost, because we charge by the hour for runs. And so we'll just increase the cost of Outer Wilds, and that will include the DLC. I mean, see, that's interesting you bring that up, Imperial Star Destroyer, not because of polemic reasons, that's a few weeks out, but because that pretty much is sunk cost fallacy in a nutshell, isn't it? Now, to bring this away from polemic territory, there have been many circumstances where corporate moguls have been involved with lawsuits with each other. I'll go to the Marvel lawsuit. That's an easy one because I know that one pretty well. Where several of the people involved pretty much refused to bow out, even though they had lost and had burnt tens of millions of dollars on the lawsuit, because they burnt tens of millions of dollars on the lawsuit. And they can't just walk away from that, right? I mean, I need to get something out of that. I need to get something from all this ditch digging. Okay, that's a bad example, because I doubt any rich person has done a day of work in their life. But you get my point, right? That sort of mentality has led to a lot of things taking far longer and causing a whole lot of problems when they probably shouldn't have. And again, the Marvel lawsuit. I say it's actually like 17 different lawsuits, which all went over the course of like a decade and a half. But whatever, the Marvel lawsuit is a perfect example of that. Huge mess made by a ton of rich people who were slap fighting each other because none of them were willing to walk away until they got a what do they call that? A face saving, I think, settlement is what that's called legally. AKA, here, you win, have this prize. I don't have anything here. Here's your prize. You win, go away. It's basically a bribe. It's a bribe to get someone to stop being involved in a particular lawsuit. It happens a lot. Moving on. Pokemon. Let's all that blackjack and all those hookers. The Pokemon. So this is actually funny because you're expecting me to talk about the recent Pokemon Presents. I haven't really watched it all because I didn't have time to, and I haven't researched it because I haven't had time to. So let's do a completely ignorant take on Pokemon. All right. So the first thing I did notice, and this is as much of the Pokemon Presents I actually watched, was the first game they talked about was a mobile game. And then the second game they talked about was a mobile game. And then the third game they talked about was a mobile game. Now, the fourth game they talked about was a mobile game. I wish I was joking, but I counted just to make sure. I recounted this morning just to absolutely make sure. The first 4 games they talk about are all mobile games. Of which, I would argue only one of them is actually a game, and the other 3 I'd probably qualify as mobage. But it's funny because most of Nintendo's mobile stuff has been mobage. You know, garbage. Mobile garbage, for those of you who've never seen me say that. Now, I'm going to screw this up terribly. Aveliani? Am I saying that? Aveliani? I'm probably incredibly massacring your name. I do apologize, but hi. Welcome to the stream. No need to stay quiet. We're pretty tolerant and understanding and cool around here, right? Right, we're cool. It's okay. If they're not cool, I kill them. That's how we maintain a cool environment. I'm joking. Point being, no, this community is legit. Always has been. Y'all are awesome. Fresh reminder. We do have donuts. Listen, Jesse Ward, if I didn't have to sleep, I wouldn't. I'm just saying. I could get so much more work done if I didn't have to waste more than 8 hours every night trying to get to sleep and trying to wake up. Because that's what it is, right? One of the reasons I don't like sleeping is it's very hard for me to get to sleep, and it's very hard for me to wake up from sleep, so I pretty much have the worst of both sides there. Anyways. They did talk about Pokemon... shoot, I don't even remember what it's called. The remasters that are coming out for Pearl and Diamond. I wanted to say Platinum, but... supposedly there's some new features. I don't know what they are. They're still doing the weird semi-chibi thing and also full-sized thing. which at this point effectively is just a stylistic choice. I'm not even sure what to make of that one. I don't care for it personally. I don't think it's a good look, but I get that they're trying for it deliberately. I don't care for it. Yes, exactly. Melkor Blade. Evo. That is a cool name. I suppose so. They're adding back in the thing that was in Platinum, which I actually played with my sister a bit. The thing where you go down to the basement area and like there's a whole underground. You go and... As a further aside, as you're going through that, they've apparently added to and expanded upon that. That's cool. I thought that was a cool feature. I'm sure there's other cool things there. Again, speaking from ignorance, I even this morning tried to find like a write-up, someone else's write-up of the new features. I couldn't find one. Like you look up here, I'll do it right now. I'll look up brilliant. What is it? Someone just said it in chat. Brilliant Diamond. There you go. And it's like, all right, well, let's see what Nintendo Life has to say about this, because usually they're pretty good with news. Nope, it's just a list of here's where to pre-order, and it's an adventure in Pokemon. It's just the generic list here of no information, so that's not helpful. Okay, what do we got here? The best Pokemon you can catch, and okay, that's cool. Spiritomb is still awesome. We all know this. There's Nintendo.com's actual thing, which is incredibly unhelpful. Whatever. I am admittedly probably going to buy it. I don't know if I'm ever going to review it, but that leaves us with an interesting question. This is part of the reason I'm bringing this up. This means we're going to, since this is a remaster, not a remake, we're going to have to decide which version we review if we ever get to Gen 4 Pokemon. Do we review Platinum on the DS, or do we review Brilliant whatever on the Switch? And that's interesting. Because obviously the original is going to have its own benefits and detriments, mostly detriments, especially since that's Gen 4, long before they started adding convenience features. But we don't even know if those convenience features will exist in the remaster. They might, or just be trying to do a faithful remake, in which case, all that crap will still be in. It's also worth noting that the newer version will be a lot easier to stream, because it's on the Switch, so I can just plug it in and we're good. And yeah, admittedly, I think we don't really have enough information to... Damn it, Javan, that would be insane. I don't think we have enough information to really judge yet, but it's something that's been on my mind, because, I mean, I don't particularly want to review Gen 1. I want to review Leaf Green, right? And I don't particularly want to review... You get the idea. Most of the reviews on the book are for the remakes or the remasters. Just food for thought. I have no idea, Elizar. Wait, hang on. Let me use my psychic powers. I shall reach into Game Freak. I'm seeing laziness. Laziness as far as the eye can see. Okay, we're good. The other thing they talked about was Pokemon Arceus. Now, I did see a little bit of footage about this one. Only a little bit. We did actually review the Gen 3 remake. We have reviewed that, Slim Jim Reborn, so that's that. I'm going to go ahead and go against the grain of every review site and every discussion I've seen on Reddit and on Discord about this and say that Arceus looks kind of interesting to me. Now, it may or may not be good. Obviously, I have no way of judging that since it's not out yet. But it looks like they're trying something. And in general, I tend to be in favor of that. At least trying something different, trying to vary up the gameplay style, trying to vary up the core loop, trying to vary up the nature of catching, and blah, 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 blah. It looks like it's only 1 or 2 steps away from the formula, but I noticed this as I was watching, 5 seconds of it. And the first thing that occurred to me was, that feels like the evolution they've been pushing for since, I guess Gen 5 if we want to go all the way back. But you know how they keep pushing this idea of an open area where you're just kind of zooming around, open worlding Pokemon? And they've been very, very slowly drifting into that bit by bit. Remember how we talked about that in the Sword and Shield thing? Because Sword and Shield has open areas. And then it has the DLC, most notably the Armor Isles, which is basically entirely open world. And it feels like they're really pushing that and trying to make that into a new thing. Now, I felt like the wild areas were betas, and I actually gave them a couple of negatives for it, but I do love the concept. And the Armor of Isles, in my opinion, was that concept done way better. It felt like they had taken the ideas and work and experience from, you know, the wild areas in the main game and actually expanded upon them and made it better, right? I mean, we spent, like, I think the first entire day, 10 hours of streaming, just, you know, I think we're down to 8, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Nope, yeah, we streamed 10 hours a day. We spent the first 10 hours just roaming around the open world, having fun with it. So I feel like this is another step forward in that exact process. And I'm kind of in favor of that. I do still wish they would do more very interesting and very diverse things. But then again, I really want a Pokemon Gym simulator, so what the hell do I know? I've never let go of that. I never stopped developing that in my head because there's so much you can do. Oh God, there's so much you can do with that. Especially if you let them design their own puzzles like Roller Coaster Tycoon style, which was something we suggested as an option for that. You know, it's like, okay, so we've got this gym, but hang on, we've got to have a jumping puzzle. So let's make it so they can jump over here, and then kind of make that come up here, and then to do this over here, and just style this, and I want them to be able to jump up here. But if they jump down here, they need to go over here. Hang on. I think it'd be cool. Moving on. That's actually all I got for news. How much revenue would it make? Who cares? I'm sorry. I was thinking about this literally last night. I'm not going to say in reference to what, but it irritated me because, on the one hand, wanting to make money makes perfect sense. But on the other hand, wanting to make more money or all of the money makes no sense. Now, I know I'm saying that wrong. I want you to imagine a world in which they make the Pokemon Gym management sim, whatever they're going to call it, right? Just call it Pokemon Gym. There's the name. There's the name of the game. Pokemon Gym, okay? So, let's say that this game sells well and makes money. It doesn't make as much money as a main title, but it makes it net. It makes plenty of net money. Why isn't that good enough? I know the answer to my own question. I'm being facetious. And this is what it was just bouncing around my head last night. When I say last night, I was actually cooking at the time. What was it when I was trying to get to sleep? Pokemon Gymulator. I like it. You made money. You did it. Good job, everyone. The company is profitable. Every Loreweek, we just devolve into talking about finances. I mean, I suppose I shouldn't apologize for that. Most of human society sits on the economic concepts we've had for millennia. Like, if you point to just about anything in society, most of it was caused by economics to some extent or another. So, I mean, right? It's kind of hard to avoid talking about economics. But I don't do it on purpose, I swear. I don't steer the conversation. You ever have a friend like that? Like, someone's like, hey, what did he used to be into? I was talking to a friend. This is many, many, many years ago. It was like 16 years ago. Hey, did you see the latest movie of whatever variety it is? They say, you know what that movie reminds me of? Basketball. And then we talk about basketball. Basketball. There we go. Okay. I'm not trying to steer the conversation, I swear. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. Fresh reminder, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, there will be a D&D stream of some sort this Thursday, as there usually is. There will be the behind-the-scenes theater stream this coming Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to set up for the release of the actual theater, which will be going live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we will, of course, have Loreweek and Positivity a week from today. And then next Tuesday, we're back to normal streaming. For now, Positivity. We're a little bit off because the movie came out, I think, 2 weeks ahead of where it was supposed to, but at this point I couldn't I couldn't actually adjust it any. So for those of you interested in positivity, you're welcome to stay. For those of you not, you don't have to. But either way, I'll see you all in about 25 minutes.